And just like that, season 3, episode 8, titled Happily Ever After, if only it said the end, because at this point, I just think that we need to talk. Okay? So, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I haven't done that in a while in the beginning of my videos, so I'm just doing it now because I feel like it needs that. This was a very short episode, being I think it was shortened by at least 8 or 9 minutes. Because it just all of a sudden cut off, and I was left thinking, what happened? What's going on? Did I click my remote and I missed it? No, it didn't. But just because it was shorter, it wasn't any better. So we're just not getting any better. It's already episode 8. So y'all know how I'm going to feel about this episode. Now, before we get into it again, I'm going to just do this intro for the people who are newly subscribed or finding my video new. I normally group all the characters in a storyline, not the way that they provide the story in the actual episode, because of what I've mentioned before. It's like they're running a mini TikTok TV show where there's 30 seconds of character interaction within character interaction. And I am from an old school type of thing. I like to see a full storyline or something that resembles a good story, but that does not happen in this show, and it has not happened since the beginning. So it's been 3 seasons already. So we're just down the hell of rabbit holes. Alice in Wonderland, we're chasing a rabbit. I don't know where we are at this point. I keep saying Jumanji levels. At this point, I think that we have run out of Jumanji levels and we're just suffocating. So how I do it is that I take a character and I group it into their storyline. And now they will intertwine with other people, but I try to keep it together. So the flow would be, I do honorable mentions for whatever part of the episode that they are in. Sometimes some of the honorable mentions do have a larger storyline in another episode. And then I go up to maybe if there's a higher level of an honorable mention, a little echelon there, which I don't think there was too many in this episode. And then I go and I try to focus on what I like to call the 3 ding-dongs. 3 being Miranda, number 3, Charlotte, number 2, and Carrie, who is the main ding-dong and has made it very prevalent and clear that she is the main character in this entire season show. She's an executive producer with Michael Patrick King, and they're accepting all this madness. I also like to mention that the reason why I have such disdain for this show is because I got into this first season. I didn't review it, right? I didn't review it online. I think it happened in season 2 where one of the characters, LTW, Lisa Todd Wexley, and Charlotte were ogling a 17-year-old child in school. And it was so distasteful. I had already tried to put up with what happened in season 1, and then season 2, and I saw that and I lost it. And I had decided that I had to go online and I had to say something, because at that point we reached a different level of just, I couldn't take it anymore. So I'm bringing this up now because this episode actually focuses a little bit more on LTW. That's her acronym for her full name. And I have some thoughts and some questions because I apparently am the only one, not other than the viewers and the people who are complaining online. I'm talking about, I vision myself sitting there listening to this going on, and I would be the one asking a whole lot of questions because I don't understand what's happening in any of these episodes as far as character growth, understanding. Who the hell are you at this point? I don't even know you. Why are you even here? Some characters have just disappeared. Naya, for example, nobody knows where she is. She could be still under, the hot chef, or he may have filleted her and killed her. We don't know. We're never going to find out. But she was in first 2 seasons, and we have no clue where she is. Not even mentioned. Che, is gone. We saw her happily ever after hopping away with some girl. So that storyline is dead, and that's fine. But this goes into a much bigger problem with this show, is that they weave in certain storylines that either end up nowhere or they start introducing new things that are supposedly have happened before, and I don't even know what's happening. Example, LTW's dad, who apparently was dead in season 1, resurrected in season 2, and now dead again in season 3. And thanks to you viewers and a lot of vocal people on YouTube, they still have no clear understanding of how the hell this happened. Okay, we're going to talk about that. So I also like to bring up that I'm not the only one that feels this way. There are a lot of people, either they're viewing, commenting, they're watching other creators who, hey, listen, I love all the creators who are talking about this. I think it's great. You can pick and choose whomever you like to watch. Feel free. I think they all have a wonderful, kind of voice. They have their way of doing it. I have my way of doing it. And thank you for staying with me, for the ones who enjoy the way I do this. Lastly, I like to bring up the fact that the Emmys were announced. And have you noticed that this show was not nominated for anything? And I say this because the original Sex and the City, I want to say, was nominated and won. I know the actresses, I'm not sure of all of them, but I know they were nominated and they won in the runtime that they were in the 6 years. I would think that this show would want to strive for that. I think it speaks volumes, and it tells a tale that this show is not even considered Emmy nominated worthy. I think that they're delusional, they being everybody, all of them, from the writers to the fashion. I really have a pet peeve about this, okay? To the executive producers, to the actresses who deliver lines as if they were just trying to deliver a line, to the product placement, to all of it. It's just horrible. There's no redeeming this. I really wish that at this point they just let this be the last season, have a murder in the building, and call it a day. Have Carrie go off and live a van life because she cannot be with Aiden and his Manson family. She can't be with Duncan Hobbit and his secret life, and just go off into the sunset in a van. Just disappear. I would be satisfied. Or they fire everyone, including Michael Patrick King, and reset this. And I love some of the comments that were left that maybe she was in a coma, ding dong number 1, which would be Carrie, and she wakes up and none of this happened. Though I don't believe that they can ever bring back Mr. Big because of the actor. And I know that Kim Cattrall has pretty much said no, she's not coming back ever. But they can bring some elements back and just stop. Stop it. All of it. Those are the only 2 options. I do believe they're going to come out with another season. I don't know how. I don't think they're listening. I know they're not. The thing is that this season was already filmed last year. So no matter what we're saying right now, it's not going to change whatever is coming up in the next few episodes. That's already done. The only thing we can hope for is that we continuously vocalize our disdain for what they're doing to the show, to the character, to the overall just bad everything. And maybe, just maybe, I could be hopeful. There are times I could be hopeful. Like I hope that this changes. Maybe they'll look at everything that's going on, lack of Emmy nominations, people. And let me tell you, YouTube is not the only one screaming. I've read some editorials online, and there's a lot of people, because I don't do blogs or vlog. No, blogs. It's blogs. I don't blog. But I do read some of the stuff that come up, and there's a lot of people writing. If they're not watching us on YouTube, being the people who are doing this show, they should at the very minimum be reading something. They cannot be in this box that I feel that they're in. They're like in this like little box that they're not paying attention. People are writing like really like what we're vocalizing on YouTube. So whether you're reading it or you're watching it, I hope that they take this criticism and it's not constructive. I'm not being constructive about this at all. I'm being damn right out there. You people suck. I'm not being constructive. I'm sorry. I can't. I've tried. You had me pissed off at season 2 when you had a 17-year-old boy being ogled by anybody. Nobody should be filming that. Okay? You should be listening, taking notes, and maybe salvaging what little bit you can to bring back the fans. And maybe, just saying, you might get an Emmy for best revival of a revival of a revival. That was a long intro. So let's get into it. So we are going to get into honorable mentions. Okay? So one of my favorites is Anthony. At the very minimum, they still haven't completely destroyed this character. I don't know how this is going to go forward, but not yet. Thank God. The only short scene he has is his to-be mother-in-law Maleficent. And someone made a comment, do I really believe that her name is Maleficent? No. But Anthony coined her as Maleficent in the prior episode. So guess what? Because y'all know, I love it when people dub or like give out nicknames, because you're going to hear that a lot for all my new viewers. I have nicknames for everyone. But this time, it wasn't me. It was Anthony. He coined the phrase. And now, from going on, she's going to be Maleficent, the mother-in-law. Okay? So Maleficent, the mother-in-law is at the art gallery opening of Charlotte. And she is speaking to her son, Bread Boy, who is Anthony's boyfriend. And I'm sorry, my hair keeps getting in the way. My apologies. It's like annoying the hell out of me. It's going into my eye. She is speaking also to the gallery. I guess I want to say he's the gallery owner, or part owner, or he's a salesperson. It's the one that Charlotte works with. And she's talking to her son, saying that she wants to buy him a large scale painting of something. And he keeps telling her, well, I can't do a large scale painting of anything because I have a very small apartment. And most of the time I stay with Anthony. Great. She makes a quick remark saying that, oh yeah, that's old and short. And he picks up on the fact of what she's trying to say, that he's old and short for Anthony. So he tells her that he loves him. And the owner of the gallery is trying to push the sale because he sees that this woman has money, because she wants to also get him a loft apartment versus where he's staying in his little room and with Anthony. She's trying to break him up, bottom line. So then Anthony walks by and he makes a funny remark about, there's a nude, oh my God, there's a nude art piece woman, and you'll figure that out when I go to that part. And he says, well, the total number of women I've seen naked is officially now 1, which is funny. Though I believe that if he stayed over Carrie's house with Miranda, he'll see a whole lot of nakedness. I mean, because Miranda refuses to put clothes on. And I find that very odd that he's never seen Miranda naked, because we have all been blessed with that. So she gets annoyed that he stops by, makes the remark, and she tells the gallery owner to take her away because she wants to get away from Anthony. Poor Anthony. So Anthony turns around to his boyfriend, Bread Boy, and he says, the other day, I was walking down the street and I saw an unmarked car. I want to say it was unmarked. And I felt that they were following me. So I hopped into a bodega. Listen. I want to say he said bodega because that is what is very prominent in New York. And if you're a New Yorker and if you know that, bodegas are everywhere, right? They're ubiquitous to New York City as well. So anyone who doesn't know about New York, that's a very popular thing. Bodega is like a small grocery store. So he hopped into a bodega and he felt that she put on a mob hit on him because she's from Italy. So I love him. I really do. I have to laugh because crying doesn't work anymore. No, but this was funny. And poor Bread Boy's like, she's not trying to put a mob hit on you. And he's like, well, she doesn't like me. and she's definitely trying to ruin our relationship. We knew this was going. And he says, listen, why don't you let her get to know the real you? Why don't you make her dinner? And Anthony's like, oh my God. He says something like, that's amazing. That's my real house. I can do that. First of all, I didn't know Anthony could cook because I've never seen him cook other than bread that may not be attached to yeast. Pause for dramatic effects. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Hot fellas. And he's always in Charlotte's house eating. I never see him cooking. Ever. So I'm curious to see what it is that he's cooking. So he's saying, oh, I can do that. To me, I feel that, well, the next line, Bread Boy says, you do it, just the two of you. And poor Anthony, he's like, just the two of us? I immediately thought, hey, you have an opportunity here. You can get rid of Maleficent, though, you would have to, claim self-defense or maybe, what is it? Loco Poco? So I won't take that route. You can talk to Duncan the Hobbit and get his mutton stew recipe. That'll mess her up. There's ways. I mean, I don't see Anthony actually like catering to her. I hope not. I hope not. So now he's put in his mind that he has to entertain Maleficent alone cooking. I'm telling you, there's going to be a murder in the building somewhere at the end of the show. I just have a feeling. So that was honorable mention number 1. My Anthony. I hope they really make this. I hope they focus on this and they really take care of the scene and they make it hilarious, true to his character. I really do. We need that. We need a little bit of the original people and not this, whatever's going on. So stay tuned. Hopefully that shows up next. Let's get into, she's become an honorable mention, and the next one is Seema. Stay tuned. It's coming. Subscribe. Let's get into Seema and her animal prints. Seema, I like to call Samantha 2.0 because they've tried everything in their power to replace Samantha with Seema, and it has not worked. Now, I'm reflecting on this, and I want to be clear. I don't know the actress, whether from another show. I heard that I want to say she was one of those zombie shows. I can't remember. I've never really seen her until I seen this show. So I have no personal vendetta or gripe about the actress. I don't know her work. I just don't like how they've written her character. It's just not, it doesn't work. So this is more of the writers, and then the way that they do the direction and her deliveries. I just think that it's just too much, and then now they have her, I don't know what hole they're going down with this one, but she went from being here to struggling in a matter of 2 seasons for no apparent reason. I don't know. And I don't know anything about her. All I know is that she has parents. And I think she has siblings. She's supposed to have money, but I don't know what's rented or what's not. So I don't know. But I do know that the scene opens with her in the garden of plowing. I don't know how to write. I don't know what to say about this scene. I'm trying to be clean. No. So they're getting their plow on. We get a buttocks of Adam the Gardener. I think that somewhere they figured at some point we need to see some sort of sex, though this is not really what the show is about. Sex in the City was very Sex in the City. And this show has been everything but sex. So I guess be careful what you wish for. Very odd scene. She is enjoying herself, for lack of a better word, extremely much, and I can't show too much of it. I think the fact that she's wearing an animal print bra, they really take this whole animal print brown thingy that she is very well known for to a whole other level. And again, for those who don't know me, sometimes I don't look in the camera. It's because I'm rethinking the scene, because I don't script this, by the way, in case you didn't know that. Some of my viewers already know this. So sometimes I'm just going through what happened and I'm trying to remember. So I try to look at the screen. Oh boy. So she laughs, he laughs. She says, "Oh my God, what's going on? I've never laughed after sex." And she asks him the same thing. And there's this weird dialogue between them. I was meh. It didn't do it for me, only because then it proceeds to, I just feel like they're trying to make her, you know what? I really wish I knew what they're trying to make her do. Because she said so many times that's not her type. Apparently it is, because she kind of looked at him from day one. And she has gone through different types of men. I don't know who her men's style is. I don't know who Seema is. I don't know. You know, it's like she's not Samantha. She's not a young Carrie where she can just jump in and out of bed. She doesn't have stability. I don't know. And here's the thing, I don't care. Like, if they let Seema go, I would be like, okay, but then I feel that way about all of them. So I saw this scene where they start to get into it again, and I realized that he was going into her armpits. But I just thought that at that moment, it was just because they didn't want to do like armpit adjacent, you know. So I thought that they were just trying something. So I didn't think much about it until the next scene with them is they're at a restaurant and they're talking, and Seema catches this woman at a booth at the restaurant, putting on deodorant because that's normal. Really, you couldn't get up and go to the bathroom and put deodorant? Really? And why? What did you just realize you stunk? And where did you get the deodorant from? Are we walking around with deodorant? Is that the thing now? Is that what you people do now? And when I say you people under 30. So she shows Adam, and Adam, and they're both looking at her. And you would think that she would notice that people are looking at her, because they're like this, staring at her, and there's nobody else around. But no, no, no. And they start laughing, and he kind of says that, oh dear Lord, he doesn't, well, no, he says he has a fetish, which is armpits. Hence the scene with him going into her armpit. So it wasn't for the armpit adjacent jewels. It was literally, he was going after her armpits, and he has an armpit fetish, and he does not wear deodorant, which freaked out Seema, because I didn't understand what that meant either until he proceeds to say he wears rock mineral deodorant. So I actually looked this up because I figured this had to be a product placement. And it is. It's real. They really have that. Different forms of it. I don't know. I've never heard of this. So the fact that he went into her armpits, he tasted some of the deodorant that she was wearing, and she got freaked out. And then, does it get better? No. So he takes the check, very gentlemanly, and the guy tells him Mr. Karma, because apparently Karma is his last name. And she gets freaked out again and says, "Your last name is Karma?" And he goes, "Yes. My parents legally, or my mother legally changed my name and my sister's name to Karma, so we always remember Karma." I'm pausing for silence because I'm literally stuck. I don't know what to say. I don't know if people do have a last name Karma. I mean, it seems reasonable. I thought that she was going to freak out because she realized maybe he was from a famous family and had money. And all this time she thought he was a dirt digger. No, but she's legitimately freaked out because, of course, he changes his name legally, his parents, to Karma. So his name is Adam Karma. So she, between the rock salt deodorant and his last name, she tells him that you should have told me that before we got into it. Got into what? What are you into? What's happening? What's happening? Okay. The next scene you have with just the two of that, with two of them, but this is intertwining to the Aiden and Carrie Chronicles. They're at the opening of Charlotte's thing, or it's not her gallery, it's the gallery she works in. And they're standing next to Aiden, who popped up for reasons that we will find out later, which are just as stupid as the entire show. And I don't remember Aiden ever being introduced to Adam, the garden digger. And Seema starts to get on him about not wearing deodorant. She asks Aiden, does he wear deodorant? Aiden says yes. Adam makes a stupid remark, and it goes into just stupid banter. And then, Aiden is asking Adam, since you are the garden digger, have you met the cat that lives below? Which it took me a second. I guess he means Duncan the Hobbit. I don't care what he says. It's Duncan the Hobbit. And who he is, what's he like? And, Adam is like, he's an E. Okay. And then he asks Seema, what do you think about him? He's a meanie. And that's it. That's all. That's all we see of Seema. And Adam, Karma, Garden Boy. I don't know where they're going with this. Do you? I don't know. Do you care? Tell me if you care. Do you find this interesting at all? Because I'm trying to make this interesting, but here's a secret. Shh. It's not. It's not. It's not. It's not. Next up. I think we got the honorable mentions out. Yeah. No. Well, okay. I can't say LTW is an honorable mention because she has a huge part. I can't really put her with a ding dong because we've kind of coined the phrase the three ding dongs, but let's put her in the higher echelon of honorable mentions. And oh boy, I'm going to need time to go over this one because, oh dear Lord, what the hell is going on? Stay tuned. We have LTW and crew. Shh. I actually had to take a 5-minute break because I knew I was going to get into this, and this is going to be probably the longest part of, well, except for Carrie. Oh boy, LTW. So, the first scene you have with LTW is she is visiting Harry because he's gotten his operation for his prostate cancer. And I'll make a mention of this here because I go back to, I don't know who Harry's friends are. And I find it interesting that only they show LTW visiting Charlotte's husband during his recovery, but there is no one else visiting Harry. So let's pretend that there is no one else in Harry's life other than Charlotte's friends. And she gives him a gift of macadamia nuts, and then the writers in their infinite writing, if you want to call it that, he makes a remark about his balls being big and that she bought him macadamia nuts, the large ones, and that it's something funny about you bought me a big bag of nuts. I don't know if this is an attempt to be funny, but whoever is this, who, who writes this stuff? Now, she leaves with Charlotte to go to the gallery and walk outside. And I have to say that, I'm loving the whole circus tent vibe I've got from LTW with the big elephant clasp thing on her neck. And if you think I'm being sarcastic about it, I am. They continuously dress her as ridiculous as possible. Really. I just feel that these people don't edit. They don't edit their own looks. They just say circus clown with an elephant. LTW. She's a beautiful woman. She's younger than me. She's younger than me. This woman, the actress, is younger than me. I want you to understand something. I want to say in her mid-40s. I'm 56. If you catch me out there with a tent and an elephant, there's a reason. And that's not it. Stop. Her good wig is back. So let's get into the conversation between Charlotte and the circus. I'm sorry. No. I know maybe one person might like this outfit. Good for you. Have at it. I'm not. And I will be vocal. I tried to be quiet. I said I wasn't going to say anything until I found an outfit that I liked. I can't anymore. I can't stay quiet. I can't. Because these fashion people really think they're doing something great. No, they're not. So, as they're walking and talking down the fake street with no people in New York City in the middle of the day, LTW is telling Charlotte that she has had a sexual dream about her editor, Marion the Married, who she had him in a farm. They're obsessed with farms, these writers, and that he was taking off her bodice and took her. Pretty simple dream. Everybody has that dream. Everybody has dreams. I dream for this show to be good. I apparently don't have any power to make that happen. So Charlotte is like, don't worry, that happens all the time. I have dreams too. I dream of my ex-boyfriends, but it's not really in reality because in my dreams, my hair is shorter. What the hell? Let that sink in for 2 minutes. Really, that's because it's her hair is shorter. It's not set in reality. Please understand, none of this is real. Even the bad parts. This is their conversation down the street. And, LTW is trying to express herself that she doesn't understand why she's having these sexual dreams because she has a very healthy sexual relationship with her husband. And that it's very concerning. And, Charlotte is just talking crap. Oh, well, you want to have chemistry with the person that you are working with. And then, this one say, oh, yeah, that's right. That sounds great. Thank you for making my excuse of whatever I'm having. And blah, 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 blah. And is it okay to flirt? Oh, I flirt all the time. And this is Charlotte and this is LTW. I flirt all the time with the guys at the gallery, the young ones. And, then LTW says, oh, I work and I'm flirting. So we call it flirking. Oh, yeah, that's great. That's funny. Okay. So the word of the day is flirking. I want you to go out there and use that. So, they've made an excuse for flirting now. And that's it. The next thing you have is LTW in the morning in her bed with her husband asleep. He is, and she's deciding that she's going to have sex with him right now. Before she brushes her teeth, before she does anything, she's taking off her clothes. She's jumping up on top of him. And he's like, oh, is it my birthday? Oh, my God. And she goes, oh, I want you to put it in me. Well, at this point, you guys are married for a long time. You could say whatever the hell you want. I mean, let's get real. This is real. Like, this really happens. And he's like, oh, honey, wait, I have to pee, which happens. I mean, we all do have to pee. And he gets up and he goes off to pee and wants her to wait for him and stay hot for him. And she's just laying in the bed waiting for him while she's listening to him pee. And he rattles off a grocery list of things that they should pick up while she's staying hot for him. And this, I don't know what happens afterward because it doesn't really come back to, did she ever get her groove on? I don't know. They just left it at that because the next scene, oh, it's great. The next scene we have with her and Marion, the married, and they have a papaya being opened, which is a metaphor, I'm assuming, for the see you next Tuesday. You know what I mean. I will not say that word. And he starts to take from the papaya and he goes, ew. Let's rewind. Ew. Okay, maybe it's just me. I don't find that sexy. You don't want to know why? Because it's very blatantly obvious what you're doing. You're doing that with the whole, talking to her and, oh, I just wanted something different. Would you like to taste? Don't you want something different? And she's like, no, I like to keep with my boring kale salad, no croutons with dressing on the side. I don't need anything different. I'm very happy with my kale salad. And he starts to lean in and you can just, they're writing it to make it, there's no mystery anymore. It's just, you could tell where they're going with this. He's blatantly, obviously trying to flirt with her, making her feel uncomfortable. She's uncomfortable. And he's like, I want to take you out to the movies because of some chick about some movie about Obama. I swear to God, if Michelle Obama does not show up at the end of this damn season after all this hype, then what the hell was the storyline for? Because I've been hearing about this possible Michelle Obama coming in for at least since the beginning. Mm-hmm. And she's very uncomfortable, like she can't go and, because she has a family. And I would love to know where his wife is. Where's this mystery woman? Is this an invisible wife? Like, is she off? Where is she? Because he is clearly trying to get something different. Tell me something good. Tell me that you like it. I have to break out in song because I'm going to lose my shit. Again. This whole scene was just a waste of time because at the end of the day, when she realized that Michelle Obama's something was going to be there, not herself, but some person connected through the crazy vine, she goes home and it's the night of the opening of Charlotte's Gallery. She goes home and she tells her husband and child that she has a work thing, that she's not going to be able to go. And Herbert is like, I thought we were having dinner and that, why are you not going and giving up? And then she just proceeds to interrupt him. Well, I'm not giving up you guys. I just have a work thing. And he's like, I wasn't talking about us or me. I was talking about Charlotte, your friend Charlotte. And this whole scene is set up to be very uncomfortable for her because obviously she's lying and obviously Herbert kind of sort of figured something out, but he hasn't put two and two together yet that she's lying about, everything. And so she goes to the fridge and she's stress eating. Again, if you know your wife for that long and you've seen what she's at work with, I would think that you would be a smart cookie and figure something out. But she covers it up by saying that she has to go because somebody from Michelle Obama's crazy line will be there. And he's like, okay, that's a satisfactory answer. And she goes, I'm going and I'm not even changing my clothes because I don't care what I look like. So I'm going to say it. MC Hammer pants are back, apparently. It is summer, in theory, for the show. We went from circus tent to MC Hammer pants, and the fact that she says that she doesn't care what she looks like, so what? So this is you not caring? Okay. No. Stop. So she Next thing you have, she leaves and she's sitting next to Marion married and in the theater watching the movie that he had asked her to come with, something like that. And he is slowly moving his knee towards her. He's aggressively trying to flirt with her. She gets up and says she has to leave because I guess she remembers that, this is not flirting anymore. This is straight up flirting. And they get up awkwardly and she's like, I'm like, I don't know where they're going with the storyline. And I'm going to say why this. She leaves. She is at the grocery store speaking to Charlotte, who apparently has vertigo now. And we'll get into that when we talk to Ding Dong number 2. And she is very stressed out because she realizes that this has gone beyond flirting. And apparently, Charlotte says, okay, Marion calls her. He's still at the movie, I guess. And the person that he wanted to introduce her to was there. And she picks up the phone grudgingly. And he says he puts the girl on the line. And that's pretty much the last scene we see of them. Because then she goes on to her, script about what the show is about because he's trying to promote the show. Great. So I'm going to stop the storyline and I have a few questions. Okay. Who are these people, being Herbert and LTW? I've been with them for 3 seasons and I don't know anything about these characters. I don't know their history, their background, where they met. I just realized that she had a dad and I assume she's a single child because nobody else came to this resurrected dad funeral, right? I don't know anything about where they're from, nothing. Okay. And isn't Herbert isn't he running for city comptroller? That's a pretty high up there gig, in that realm. Shouldn't he be, I don't know, campaigning? I know he has a campaign manager. I know that Harry was his campaign manager. I don't remember what happened to that. All of a sudden, we got Chauncey. Chauncey is now the campaign manager. Shouldn't they be, I don't know, politicking? Shouldn't there be polls? Where is he in the poll? Who's he going against? What, I see him in the morning. I see him with clothes on. I see him halftime in the shower. And then I don't know what's happening with this whole storyline. Shouldn't they be talking like a family unit? Like, how's this going to affect their life if he becomes city comptroller, not controller, comptroller, very different. He's going to have a staff of 900 people. This is $120,000, $130,000 job. Shouldn't we know where he is in anything and how this is affecting her instead of just it being her? I feel like there's a whole backstory that I'm not getting. Maybe if they made it seem like that they're stressed out, I don't even see them going on campaign tours together. I don't know anything other than the fact that she's working on her 1,000-year journey book because it's taken her 1,000 years to get this shit together, a video. She's got the hots for Marion the Mary because she just wants to. I mean, it happens. People get bored in relationships and, it happens, but I don't. Who are you? Why do I care? Now, I mean, what I know about her, she ogles younger children. She has done a documentary, I think, before, which is why she was, I think, in season 2, walking in the snowstorm with stuff on her. And she was at an auditorium being, I don't know, speaking. I can't remember. I know there was a snowstorm. She cooks. She shops. She has 3 kids. They live on Park Avenue. Either the Park or 5th. Either one is very, very elite. She has the power to resurrect the dead. I can consider that a special skill. She has the ability to turn anything in her house to a fashion statement. Balls, elephants, plastic. She has a variety of different wigs, yet she only wears 2 of them. I don't know them. Herbert is... What does Herbert do? Do we know? Can you tell me in the comments? Does anybody remember? What is his job? How is he qualified to be running for city comptroller? Where does he work? Who are the people in his neighborhood? Who are the people in his neighborhood? I don't know these people. And I think that's one of the biggest failures of this show. It's like they kind of just throw these people in with no real... It's been 3 seasons now, I think. We need a little bit of a backstory here. And that's my biggest problem. It's like we just get these weird interactions with people. Like, I never see Carrie go to her house. I never seen Seema interact with her other than in Carrie's party. I never see her be interactive with the group more than maybe once or twice. She's kind of sort of somewhere around, but I would think that Seema would be talking to her because she has influence and friends like Charlotte to get her Patel group up and running because they're supposed to be all friends. And isn't that what real estate is about? You know, recommendations and referrals. And, you know, I don't understand the role of Lisa in this whole group. There is no real time that I can actually remember them all being together, especially when there's no connection to this group. They're all in pocket dimensions. If that makes any sense. It's like, where's Herbert candidating his comptroller? Is this off planet somewhere? Like in the moon? Like who? If you remember any of my questions, like who the hell these people are, pick one. You can leave a drop comment. Maybe they've told the backstory and I've just blanked it out because I erased everything in my head. But no, me no likey. Next up, we've got ding dong number 2. Oh, no, 3, 2, 1. Subscribe. Let's get into ding dong number 3, which is Miranda. So Miranda, in this episode, we first see her opening the door to BBC Girl. BBC Girl has come back from a trip. Since we don't know anything about her, I really don't care. She could have gone to space for all I give a shit about. Boring. She comes in and she tells Miranda that she bought a alcoholic beverage gin. I don't know anything about the alcohol. I don't know about the gin. I just know that she mentions that it's very hard to get. Anybody who's a gin expert, let me know if that really is the case, if this is a very expensive bottle. And at first, when I saw this scene, I found it very odd because I do know she knows that Miranda doesn't drink. And then when we get further into the story, I was like, yeah, this is not any better, even knowing this. So she asks if she can have a drink. Is there any tonic? And then she remembers because, Miranda says no. Then she remembers that she doesn't drink. And she says she's sorry and that she can take the gin back. And no, Miranda being, trying to be in love or try to keep the love or try to keep the magic and the mystery between them, whatever the hell's going on. Says, no, you can keep it. Great. She keeps the bottle of gin and BBC Girl keeps the bottle of, try to say that 3 times fast. BBC Girl tries to keep the bottle of gin in Miranda's house. Close enough. Oh my God, I can't. So the next scene you have is with Miranda and Ding Dong number 2 and 1 at Charlotte's gallery opening, whatever. Reading the title of what I presume what the title of this episode is, Happily Ever After, from somebody that says something about being happily ever after, and then the three ding-dongs start talking about their past lives and how many years ago they changed since the 80s, and, they're not the same people anymore, and that, okay, sure, and except for Carrie, who got a belt from the 1980s that she's wearing with her dress, and that, Miranda keeps saying, well, I'm not the same person even from last year. And I'm just listening to this and I'm like, have you really changed? Have you? Any of you changed? Because as this goes on and I'm thinking about this, I'm like, no, Carrie has not changed. She still believes that she's had 20 years with Aiden. She's still trying to pretend that there's nothing wrong. She's still her narcissistic, fashionistic, trying to pretend she's someone else to anybody that looks at her, including Duncan the Hobbit. So that hasn't changed. Now we have Charlotte, who has done the most change because she has been lobotomized, to think that her children can act and behave in manners that are not characteristic to the mothering and the care and the loving family that she's tried to portray at any cost. Because I'm telling you, Charlotte should have kicked both their asses up and down Park Avenue from a long time ago. She should have. I don't care if I get sent to jail for child abuse. You're getting your ass kicked. I don't put up with that shit. That's just ridiculous. So maybe she's done the most changed. And then Miranda is saying that she's changed from, oh my God, here we go. She tells the girls that she's allowed for Joy, or BBC Girl, to leave the gin, and that she started thinking that maybe, just maybe, she took this whole alcoholism to the extreme because she was in a bad marriage and she was questioning her life and her sexuality, and that she supplemented that pain into drinking too much, that maybe now that she's happier, she may be, alcoholish. Sure, like this show is dumbish. I can buy that. Said no one ever. And Carrie says, never heard of that term, which, great. And where do they go with there? Nothing, because nobody pushes her to really explain. She goes on to say, maybe I can have a drink with my girlfriend every once in a while. And then, Carrie and Charlotte's like, but you work so hard to control your alcoholism. She read a book. She took one AA class, wound up on the beach, kidnapped for the most part, and that was it. I've seen harder ants. I've seen ants work harder than on this faux alcoholism. She just quit. She read a book and that was it. A book that she mailed to herself that she forgot. You remember that? I remember it all. Because my memory erasing pill no be working. They're great. When I say paciencia Dios, dama paciencia, that's English for Lord, give me patience. Patience, Lord, give me. Oh, and by the way, I'm answering a question that someone asked. Yes, yo soy Boricua. That means yes, I am Puerto Rican. And I would like to even be more clear on this. I'm New Rican, okay? That's a Puerto Rican born and raised in New York. So to be more specific, yo soy New Rican, okay? I hope that doesn't dissuade anyone, and I hope you guys even want to subscribe more. But yes, I'm answering the question. If you haven't picked that up yet, yes, I am, and I'm proud of it. It's just like most people. Be proud of your culture. Be proud of wherever you're from. It's a beautiful thing. And New York City is a melting pot. obviously also a crazy pot, because this one thinks that she can just give up everything just to have a drink with her BBC girlfriend. And the next thing you have is she's holding a Joy gives her at the opening of this bonanza. You'll know why soon. She asks her to hold the bottle of champagne to Miranda, Ding Dong number 2. 3, sorry, I confuse them sometimes because they just intertwine sometimes. The Ding Dong number 1 is always Carrie. And as she's going to the loo, because she's British, and I'm okay with that. Don't say toilet or ladies' room. I'm okay. Poor Charlotte sees Miranda almost taking a drink and tries to fly over there to stop her. See, that's a friend. I'll get into what happens in the Charlotte Ding Dong story, but that was really nice because she didn't have to do that, right? Like, she saw what she was trying to do and she's trying to stop her. That's the one good thing about that, that shows that she cares. Like, don't give up everything that you've worked so semi-hard for and you all lie about to just because your girlfriend just likes to have a drink. Next up, we have Miranda in her home, which, by the way, is way more furnished than Carrie, but then she bought the furniture. So I appreciate that. She has chairs and tables and stuff. And she's watching by bingo show again. Yet no one has explained to me this freaking show. And she is, I guess, hungry. She gets up as she's working and she opens up the cabinet and she, takes a cookie, and there is the gin, and she thinks about it and she doesn't want, she's eating her cookie. And there will be some people that will be very disturbed of how she eats her cookie. I give up with Miranda. That's the way she is, and she likes to be photographed on a toilet. The character, Cynthia Nixon, she wants to be, realist. I prefer surrealist. I don't know if that's the proper acronym to realist. I don't need that much realism in anybody's character. But then again, now she sits back down and then she thinks about opening the gin. She goes back to the cabinet. She gives a look. One of the scariest looks I've ever seen. I don't even think I've seen Jason look like that. And she takes a little swig. She decides not to take a swig. Well, she takes it, she spits it out, and then she takes the very, I presume, expensive bottle of gin, and she goes out to the trash chute of her building, and she throws the gin down the trash chute, and then you hear it crack and crash, and that's it. So she went from being tempted, taking a taste, spitting it out, and then throwing out the bottle of gin that she did not bring, instead of calling BBC Girl and saying, hey, I know this is expensive, but can you do me a favor? Come by and take it back because I really don't want it here. And hey, we all found out that she has told her that she doesn't drink, but she's never told her why. Which I go back to, if you've changed so much, all of you, why are you still acting like you're stupid in your 20s? Because we do stupid things in our 20s. We all have it. We all done it. Don't lie to me. You all have been stupid at least one time. All of us. It's a rite of passage. Okay? Don't lie to me. Don't come in the comments and be like, I never did. Don't do it. So she's still pretending that she is not in a relationship, that she needs to tell the truth about her alcoholism, because this is happening I'm sorry, I skipped to that part where she was giving the speech to the girls about why she feels like she wants to be an alcoholic again or drink, that she doesn't want to tell her that the reason why she's not drinking is because she has an alcoholism problem. And that's because it's not sexy. That's how she lowers her voice. And I'm like, so She doesn't want to give up the magic. It's the only thing I can think of. Like the magic of denial. Y'all really need to help me out here. I don't understand what's happening. Haven't we passed this stage already that, and this goes into, they don't ask questions. Because if someone tells me I don't drink, I would say at that age, I'd be like, why? Why? Is it a thing? Is it a religion? Did something happen? Did you like hit somebody as a drunk driver? Like what? Why? You know, and Joy doesn't ask BBC Girl, but she does remember at some point. But then Miranda doesn't want to tell her because she doesn't want to lose the magic of, I don't know, whatever the hell is going on. And help me, Rhonda, help me, Rhonda. Help me, Rhonda, help me, Rhonda. Help me, writers, help me, writers. Help me, writers, help me, writers. Mm-hmm. So that was ding dong number 3. Subscribe. You ready? Charlotte. Ding dong number 2, Charlotte. Charlotte had, I don't know what's going on with her. So we know that Charlotte is taking care of Harry and his, I think he said, he made something funny about his balls because he has prostate cancer, and I wish I remember the line, but I would have to actually give a fairy rat's behind to remember the line, but it was funny. You can go back and check it out. Bouncy house balls. That's what he said. So she's sort of kind of taking care of him. You sort of saw her with LTW and the circus tent ensemble. And then the next scene you have with Charlotte specifically is with the Witches of Eastwick. Yes, that's who they are. At the gallery, setting up what will be the live model that will be laying down on this bed that is supposedly they're putting in a condom what should be male organic fluid, but I don't think it's real. At least I don't hope it's not. That's a bottle. I don't know where they would get that and store it, technically. And whatever is happening in the scene is all about the placement of the used condom with the potato chips and the 3 witches of Eastwick talking to her about what's going to happen. And, you know, Charlotte figures out that the used condom is not placed exactly where it's supposed to be placed. So she bends down and then she can't get back up because her vertigo is coming back. And then Witches of Eastwick 1 says, oh, is that a real thing? I didn't know that was a real thing. Like, I thought it was fake, like Epstein Barr. Charlotte says it's real. And she's getting back up and she needs help. Okay. I'm going to ask my question at the end of this session. Next scene you have with Charlotte is at the gallery opening, talking to Ding Dong 2, 3 and 1 about what's happening with Miranda alcoholism-ish. New phrase. And Charlotte gets an episode of her vertigo again as she's listening to, you know, Miranda's rendition of what alcoholism is. And they try to help her to go somewhere. And then suddenly, the next scene you have is she's watching Miranda sees her with the alcohol in her hand, champagne from Joy, BBC Girl, and she runs over or crawls or holds onto the walls because of her vertigo, and she's screaming, no, Miranda, don't do it. And then she falls on top of the bed with the nude model that's supposed to be on display. And who did not see this coming? I don't know, because I knew that was going to happen. And they help her up being Carrie, and she has the condom stuck to her, the one that they placed for this exhibition, and whatever was in there, which I still don't know if she was ewing about the fact that it was real, or I thought it was just possibly hand sanitizer. I don't know. The next scene you have with Charlotte is that she's coming home, and this is remnants of when she came home drunk. So we're back to, and it's not because she's drunk, it's because her vertigo. And she's talking to LTW while LTW is having a spasm about the fact that she almost had an orgasm over Marion the Married touching her knee. My God, really? And the poor woman is hanging onto the walls talking to her as she's telling her, I love you, go take your phone call. And that's all we see of Charlotte. And this whole purpose of me saying all this, like, I have a question. Here's the question and answer period, because I need people who've actually watched and pay attention to this show. She mentioned that this happened to her last year and that she was bedridden. I am sorry. I don't remember this at all. I don't. I could be wrong. She could have had this done. Maybe this was talked about. If you do remember this, let me know. But I feel that she's having more of panic attacks than she's having vertigo. I don't remember the storyline at all. Not even a mention of it. And I remembered some of the other stupid stuff, like Carrie and her hip replacement, because it's Carrie's world and we're all trying to get a nut. So of course I remember that stupid freaking storyline. Who else has been sick on the show? I don't know. I feel like we're missing somebody else who's been sick on the show, like legitimately sick. But I'm sure that they've handled her vertigo with as much care and love as they've handled all of the other illnesses on this show, with details and much respect and understanding. So I just want to ask everyone, is this true? Did she have this last year or last season or any part? Because they're making this a big deal. They're normally bringing up something like they tried to hide the fact that, we all knew that Harry was going to have something happening in the penis region, because they've only kept bringing something up down there. So her vertigo or whatever the hell's happening to her, there's a purpose and an end to this. To what end? I don't know. But that's all I have to say about it, because there's really not much of Charlotte other than her flirting with, LTW, her holding on to a used condom at a museum when her vertigo kicked in, her holding on to a wall as she's talking to LTW, and her taking care of Harry's bouncy balls. Mm-hmm. Next, Carrie and her chronicles. Oh boy. That's going to be part 2. So I forgot to mention also, I do this in parts. So there's always the part 1 where I focus more on the honorable mentions, the higher honorable mentions, and some of the ding-dongs. But Gary gets her own part, because this is Gary's show, and we all have to stay tuned and watch exactly what the hell's going on with this freaking show and her damn storyline. So she isn't in her own part. So part 2, guys, is coming. Wait for it. Bye. Mwah.